Greetings, Andy here again, and in this video I've decided to showcase some of my favourite records from my collection by selecting just a single LP for each letter of the alphabet. So obviously a record that's title starts with a particular letter, just one for each one. And my last video where I went album titles which had a number in them was a bit random, it was a bit impromptu, so I've given this one a little bit more thought, you'll be glad to know. So for each one I've selected a particular album that together, all of them together, represents the variety in terms of genre and style and period, you know, date-wise. So I've got out of all the whole lot, I've got an album from every decade that I've lived in. So from the 50s right through to the current decade. In fairness, there are perhaps slightly more 70s and 90s than some of the others, but there's a good spread. And, you know, in view of the fact that there are 28 records, I'm going to spread it over 3 episodes. So I'm going to do 10 today and then 2 lots of 9. Now, hang on, I hear you saying, didn't he just say 28 records, but there's only 26 letters in the Roman alphabet? Yeah, except that my spreadsheet thinks that there are another couple, because when I put it in alphabetical order, because I've sort of catalogued them in a spreadsheet, it starts with numbers, then punctuation, then A, B, C, D, and E. So, and I've got records like that. And interestingly, you know, starting with a number, it's a bit of a follow-on from the last one, because there is an album that I really wish I'd thought of then, but I'm gonna start with it here. So I'm going to start with a number today, a number, then a punctuation mark, and then, you know, go through to the letter H. And as I say, there's a good variety over the whole lot. Hey ho, let's get cracking. So starting with an album whose title is a number, and it's 13, but it's not Blur, it's Black Sabbath. So this is Sabbath's final studio album, which came out in 2013, which I mean, it was their, I don't know, 19th, 20th, so I suspect the 13 just relates to the year it came out. And this was, you know, I bought this on release in vinyl, and it was really good. It's a throwback. When this was recorded, Bill Ward had left, and he was replaced on this album by, let me see if I can see who it is. Special guest Brad Wilk, I think was the drummer in Audio Slave. I can't remember. I should have researched it. Apologies. And it's actually a double LP, a sort of what you might call a short double, because it's just got 8 tracks on there, and there they all are. And there's basically 2 on each side. I think, from memory. And as I say, it's a cracker. It was their final studio album, and one which is well worth having. And whilst it's black vinyl, it does have the Vertigo swirl. So now we move to punctuation marks. So that, you know, with a title which begins with a punctuation mark, and this one is one of my favourite punctuation marks that I really overuse doing writing stuff, and it's the ellipsis. What? I hear you say the ellipsis? What is that? So, I mean, obviously nerds like me will know this, but basically the ellipsis is the ... which usually comes at the end of a sentence, but this one is at the beginning, and it's the debut by Uriah Heep, which is very humble. Well, it's ... very humble, ... very heavy. I've got them the wrong way round. And this is a picture. This is a reissue picture disc which I got a couple of years ago. They started reissuing them, and obviously the picture is on the disc is the cover of the original one, It's Uriah Heep. It's cracking. It's, good metal stuff. Yeah, it's similar. Well, it's similar to Black Sabbath. Not exactly, but they're a similar genre. So, as I say, over the time there will be more variation in style as we go through. So we come to the first letter of the alphabet, A, and this is a band I never say anything about. And lots of other people do, and it's the Beatles and Abbey Road. I'm showing you that just in case you didn't recognise the cover, So, I mean, this is a much later reissue. I didn't. I was how old was I? 12 or so when this came out. I had bought singles. So as a kid, I tended to buy singles because that's all I could afford. Didn't have any jobs. Didn't have any much pocket money. But this is one of the first albums I actually really remember as an album because, I had friends who's usually their elder brother or elder sister or something had got this. And I do remember, listening to it a lot when it came out, as a whole album. And that was very unusual because we didn't have it. It was another year or so. It really into 1970 when I really started buying albums, and it remains my favourite Beatles album. I know it's not their classic, but it remains my favourite. And it really is all killer, isn't it? So I'm not going to go through the tracks because everyone knows them. There's, as I say, it was a fairly recent reissue. I don't know, 10 years or so ago. So we come to I think this is the only one I've got of the current decade, and I think it was 2021 it came out, maybe 21 I'm pretty sure, and it was my album of the year that year, and it is Public Service Broadcasting, and their most recent studio album, which is called Bright Magic. And this is really a celebration of Berlin. So J. Wilgees Esquire decamped to Berlin when he was writing this music to really get a feel. For about 6 months or so, he went and lived there basically. So he got all the feel, and it really does. And I just find it magnificent. This to me is their best album. There's much less samples played in here. There are samples, but also field recordings. And it closes, the closing song I absolutely love. I just play it over and over again, and it's called Ich und die Stadt, which I presume means the city and I, or me and the city. And it features somebody called Nina Hoss, who I don't know, but she narrates across it in German, and it just sounds magnificent, even though I haven't got a clue what she's saying. It's a great one, and it comes with a nice booklet, which has lots of sort of 1930s style German artwork, Bauhaus or whatever it is, and it's just a single LP on. Oh no, this was not on black vinyl. Let me have a look. It's sort of a gold marbly affair. C, and this is some pop, and it's one of my favourite Elton albums, Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy, which came out, when was it, 74, 5, was it? I think 75. I should have checked all the dates, I know. Just cracking album. There's the band in all its mid-70s glory, with the wonderful Ray Cooper, the percussionist there, actually as a full part of the band now, rather than as a sort of a contributor. And Bernie, just fabulous. And where are we? Somewhere the closing. I mean, every track on here is a cracker, but I just love "Someone Saved My Life Tonight." I think that is one of his best songs ever. So there we go. That's C for Captain, and there's the on there. And now we arrive with D, and we're in the 80s, and I'm well known for not having much of the 80s, and this is possibly certainly one of my favourite albums of the 80s. It came out in 1985, and it's Don't Stand Me Down by Dexys Midnight Runners, and there on the back is Kevin Rowland, and this is this was slagged off a bit at the time because it was much. I mean, it was much less pop than their other stuff. It wasn't terribly 80s, you know. There wasn't a lot of synth pop in there. It's a simple album. There's only 7 tracks on it, and you know, some of them are quite long. This Is What She's Like. Listen to This. Just a really lovely album. I didn't buy it at the time. Wasn't really buying music, even though I heard most of it. Excuse me. I bought it on CD in the 90s, and then came across this. This is an original. Came across this on Discogs at a reasonable price. It's a 1985 issue, I don't know, a few years ago, not that long ago. And there is a surprise on the, I mean, there's the band, you know, the well-known members of the band looking all very, you know, really smart and so on. And then there's an insert in here, and there they all are. And there in the middle is there's Tim Dancy there, who looks a cool dude. What did he do? Tim Dancy was drums, and then there's this long-haired grebo in the middle who played piano on it, and that, boys and girls, is Vincent Crane. So here we have a 1980s essentially pop band who are growing up from it with with a proper prog master. Really looks the part as well. I love that. Vincent Crane, the band there, they just look so different. cracking album. And for one from my hometown, so I've had 2 Birmingham ones so far, and they are just on black vinyl. So we come to E, and following a prog person, I'm going for a prog classic, and it's Emerson, Lake and Palmer, the eponymous debut. Funnily enough, I didn't have this at the time. I sort of really got, you know, I think Tarkus was the first one I bought at the time. You know, I'd heard all of this different. I had friends who got it and played it, but this is one I bought much later. And it's a cracker. The Barbarian, Take a Knife Edge. Sorry, Take a Pebble. It's got the 3 Fates, Tank, and it finishes on Lucky Man, which was a great single. It's one of their best, but probably their equal 2 or 3 best. And so there you go, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. As I say, it's a much later reissue. And we're going to stay in the 70s, and we're going to stay with some prog for F, and it's possibly one of the greatest prog guitarists, and I'm talking about Steve Hillage. His album Fish Rising. Now this is a real cracker. It's proper weird. I mean, this is obviously a Steve Hillage solo. Steve was played in Gong quite a lot, the French band Gong, off and on, and you know, it's weird, proper weird. You know, it's sort of side 1 is called Inglid. So he uses the word glid a lot instead of glide. I don't know why. Involution. Side 2 is called Outglid and Evolution. So there are, you know, various long tracks with broken down into subsection. There is, of course, a track called Fish, and there's pictures of Steve playing his guitar and his fishing rod there. So it's I think this is an original. I didn't buy it at the time. It's some time afterwards, and it's on the Virgin label. So rapidly moving on, and now we jump to 1990. So really, sort of 80s, but just tipped into the 90s, and the album Goodbye Jumbo by World Party, which is appropriate considering Carl Wallinger has recently passed away, sadly, and there he is with his feeding the horses. What's to say? I mean, World Party, Wallinger produced some of the great music of the 80s. So there we go. Goodbye Jumbo and World Party. It's got a picture of the elephant in the room, shall we say. And to close this one on H, I'm still in the 70s, so quite a lot of 70s on this one, but it does even out over when I cover all the other ones. Here we go with How Dare You, and obviously that's 10cc. It's their fourth studio album, I think, from 76. I should have looked this up. I think it's 76, this one. No, 75. I tell a lie. How Dare You, and it's a I mean, this to me, if anyone, there's always a bit of debate about what is art rock, and to me, the benchmark of art rock is 10cc. You know, clever lyrics, beautifully played. It's pop, but it's not bubblegum pop. It's clever stuff, great songs, great singing. And always good artwork as well. And you know, this is correct. Art for art's sake, appropriately. Don't have a rock and roll lullaby, and on side side one. Whoops, I'm messing around with that. Let me get my fingers on there. We've got How Dare You, the title track. Lazy Ways, I Want to Rule the World. I'm Mandy, Fly Me, and that's a cracker, an iceberg. So, let me put that down. So, there we go. That's number, punctuation, A to H. Next time I do one of these, I'm going to do them fairly quick succession. But the next video I do will be my May roundup of new releases, and there's some crackers again. And also, I really could do with doing an update, a sort of roundup of reissues, because I've had so many new releases. I usually tack on the reissues at the end of those, and I haven't really had a chance. After the new releases, I'm going to do another video with important reissues, and again, there's some crackers there that I've bought over the last 2 or 3 months. So, and then I'll be back onto this one with I. So, thanks for watching. Cheers.